back with another episode of Pottawattamie County Routes. I'm Todd Studer. Thanks for joining us in a different set that we have here at the studios on Willow. This is Carlene Hall, who hosts a couple of shows. One mostly in this room, the Still Serving Iowa Veterans.
Yes.
And the other podcast that you were doing, the daily show for Mills County, which is called Mills County Routes, sometimes is in here.
Yeah, most of the time I'm out on the routes, though.
Yeah, most of the time you're out talking to folks, and
Yeah.
I have found that anytime that I'm out of the studio, those shows seem to do a little better as far as total views go.
You know, I think it makes the people that we're interviewing happier too, because we're going to them,
Yeah.
you know. And the other thing is, it's a glimpse. If we're going out to talk to people with businesses or at organizations, it's a glimpse into their world.
And
Yeah.
that's a way that we don't get otherwise.
Right.
So if they're coming to us, we can get their story.
Yeah.
But if you're going to them, you're also getting the visual. I mean, when you were sitting in art church and having that wonderful
That big
view
tulip behind us. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, you can't get that by coming here.
Right.
So that's part of the key to that.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Still Serving Iowa Veterans, because we really haven't mentioned much about that on this show. And obviously you and Darlene doing this together.
Yes.
And it's a passion project for both of you.
It definitely is. Darlene McMartin, who is formerly 28 years Veterans Services Director for Pottawattamie County. Darlene is a veteran herself and serves as the chair for the Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs, which is under the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs. A passion project for both of us. I myself was a veteran service officer for 5 years in Fremont County. It's something that once you start doing it, you can't lay it down. You know the need, you know the veterans are out there, and you know they need help. So, if veterans who know that you've ever done the job come to you, like I have veterans that still come to me and ask questions, and it's just something you just can't put away. You can't put it down. But I'm so excited about what's happening with Still Serving Iowa Veterans, Todd. We are connected with the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs. They follow us, they support us. Our title sponsor, Iowa Veterans Foundation, is a growing organization. The board has been meeting here in Council Bluffs, but we're open to meeting anywhere in the state of Iowa. We're open to members anywhere in the state of Iowa, and we're seeing some growth in that organization as well. The exciting thing is that our county veteran service officers are getting on board, and really that's the veterans' path to their benefits and to many of their resources. Their county veteran service officer is trained by the state every year, twice a year, and they are also trained on the federal level once a year. So those changes in the VA and the paperwork and the regulations and all of that changes so rapidly. It's always changes. It changes under every administration, and changes happen within each administration. So keeping abreast of that is not something that someone on the street can just do. You have to be connected through the state and through the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers who help train on the national level. It's quite a network. It is quite a network. So we are excited to be able to be the platform where we put out the information across the whole state regarding resources, veterans benefits, and helping lead these veterans into their county veteran service office where they can get help from trained individuals that are on the cusp, on the very edge of what's new all the time.
If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or even if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, they're the ones to call. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com. Are you looking to grow your business or bring new jobs and investments to Southwest Iowa? Advance Southwest Iowa Corporation is the economic development organization for all of Pottawattamie County. Advance connects entrepreneurs, innovators, and established companies with resources, incentives, and strategic support to launch, expand, and thrive right here in our region. From site development to small business programs and community partnerships, Advance Southwest Iowa helps build a stronger local economy. Visit advancesouthwestiowa.com to learn more and get involved.
Well, this was actually when you came and spoke with us and decided that the right fit for you was to come on board with Local Stream Media. This was the first thing you brought up.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a name for it yet.
Right.
And we kind of went back and forth and eventually settled in. And I think it was like two different things going on, and we kind of combined them into Still Serving Iowa Veterans, which is very descriptive, I think, of what the show does, and also a source of information, because as you said, things change. And oftentimes veterans don't know what is all available to
They
them.
don't.
And there has to
Yeah.
be a platform where these things can be talked about. And then at that point, a place where they can go and you can direct them in a way that they can get a more personalized
Yes.
service and be able
Exactly.
to know exactly what it is that they need.
Sometimes, if a veteran falls on hard times, they might go to the County Veteran Service Office to ask for help with their utilities or help with whatever, the basic needs of life. At that point, when a veteran walks through the door, we hope the Veteran Service Officer invites them in for a conversation. Sit down here, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about your service. Let's talk about your era. Let's talk about your branch. Let's talk about were you deployed? Let's find out when you were in, what were your circumstances? Were there any accidents, incidents, or exposures that might be causing you problems? And you have that conversation. Every veteran deserves that comprehensive conversation where the Veteran Service Officer digs into their service to find out when they served, because there's even exposures and things that they may not even be aware of. A lot of times, like, I'll just give you an example, and I think everyone's pretty well aware of this by now, but there are a lot of exposures from the water at Camp Lejeune. You've probably heard about that for the Marine Corps. Additionally, in the Gulf Wars, OEF and OIF as well, there were exposures to burn pits, because they would have to burn everything in a pit to be rid of things that had to be gotten rid of. So a lot of that smoke has been breathed. There were a lot of carcinogens and a lot of toxins in those burn pits and those exposures. So just like the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune that goes all the way back to the 50s, I believe. So the Veteran Service Officer should be aware of any exposures that the veteran may not be aware of. You have the conversation, because maybe just as simply as filling out a form to enroll for the veterans healthcare program. There is an enrollment form that they need to fill out, and they need to get that turned in and find out their eligibility for healthcare services. And there are several tiers of that. So there's a lot of information out there that the County Veteran Service Officer holds. So when a veteran comes in and just says, I need some help, and they say, well, you have too many assets or you have too much money, so we can't help you that way. That's the time to sit down with them and say, let's see how we can help you. So that's the important thing about what we want to do. We want to get that word out there. And last week, Darlene and I visited the Fisher House in Omaha, next to the VA hospital. So the Fisher House, for people who don't know, is very similar to the Ronald McDonald House on the civilian side of hospital care. It's an absolutely amazing place for the families of veterans to be able to stay close to them when they're hospitalized. And it's like a home. It's just beautiful. We've done a whole show on it, so I'm excited about that. While we were there, though, I saw my entire dream for Still Serving Iowa Veterans come true, because Darlene McMartin sat down, and with all of her years of experience, she sat down with Dave Conrad. Dave Conrad is the eligibility and enrollment person at our regional VA office. Between the two of them, they gave out some of the most amazing information for veterans to know that they may not know. But I stayed behind the camera that day, and I just watched my whole dream for this show come true from that conversation. There was so much information, and they were so passionate and so well informed and so well experienced in what they were talking about. And that show actually will air this Friday on Still Serving Iowa Veterans. I'm so excited for that one.
You talk about your dream for the show. Do you think, as you were formulating the plan for this show, was this the original dream, or has this grown? And you're inside of this now, so you can start to see more of what it is capable of being.
Sure. I had an idea. Of there's so much information out there. There's so many great organizations that are serving our veterans. Yes, I had an idea. However, I found myself presenting this show last week at the let's say it was a quarterly meeting of the Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs. Actually stood up in front of this amazing group of people of whom I have the most respect for. Several service organizations, for example, American Legion, VFW, PVA, DAV, were all represented here. And I got to stand up in there and tell them about the show, about what we're doing, and ask for their support. And everyone was really excited about what we're doing. Some of those people had already seen our show. Some were already following it, and the ones that weren't were exposed at that moment. And yes, earlier when this was still conceptual, I found myself standing in the Lieutenant Governor's office at the Capitol when Darlene and I went to the Veterans Day on the Hill in Des Moines at the Capitol building. And I'm blown away about the rooms that we've been able to stand in with this show. So we're reaching veterans who are willing to tell their stories of their transition from being deployed back to their families and those struggles and issues of PTSD. We've been able to present a quilt of valor to a 100-year-old veteran on his birthday. We have toured the Commemorative Air Force Museum here in Council Bluffs. There have been so many things and the ladies of the Quilts of Valor, this show's yet to come, but we went to where they make the quilts, headquarters, in Woodbine, Iowa, to Women for Veterans. And we videoed the whole process of making these quilts. And there's just, it's a wonderful platform for getting all of these messages out, of telling these veterans stories. And now their families are going to have these archives forever. They just pull them down off the internet and they have them forever.
This is a real good example of something that I think it can be a misnomer for some people, because I've heard a lot. Well, there's so many podcasts out there. There's just there's countless, and who, what could I possibly have to say, or what, I have this idea, but I'm sure it's been done before. The fact that this has not been done before,
Yeah.
it surprises me, and then it doesn't at the same time, because I think that this is one of those topics, and this is one of the formats that everyone just assumed something was being done. but it hasn't been. And so when you and Darlene came along and decided that, no, we're going to tell these stories and we're going to do this, and this platform is available to anybody to be able to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have taken this and done it so well and so professionally and with such reverence for the topics that you're talking about. And that's the important part with this too, is respecting where you're at. And you both consistently do that, I think, is what's resonating with people. And I think that that's why when you go to some place, when you're around people that you've never seen before, oh, I follow that show. Oh, yeah, I already know about it.
Well, yeah, well, I can tell you this. As far as Darlene and I, we make a really great duo. Darlene has most of the knowledge and the experience on the veteran services side. Like I said, I did it for 5 years. I was passionate about it. I like they say, you eat, breathe, sleep. I did for 5 years. But Darlene is just a plethora of information and knowledge in regards to veteran services. I bring a background of media and marketing to the mix, and sales. And Darlene has also been involved in sales. So at where we match up, it's probably about like that, you know. And we both appreciate each other for where we're at and where we're going and what each of us bring to the table, which is really key to what we're doing. And you talk about respect. Darlene garners respect all the way to the federal level of Veterans Affairs. Now, she's no joke now. I mean, she is the chair of the Iowa Veterans Commission, or Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs. I always get those words twisted around. And she has served on many boards. She has served for the American Legion. She was a regional director. She was actually one of the first founders of the Iowa Veterans Foundation as well. So I am so grateful and so happy for the veterans and for the people that Darlene is here, because we put this information out, and she is kind and integral and strong, and she is intelligent, and she's well informed, and constantly pushing us into new areas of veteran services. So yeah, I mean, can't say enough about her contribution to what we're doing here.
Well, this is obviously, this is something that if you are a veteran yourself, you need to be paying attention to, because it's a wonderful resource of information. But even if you're not a veteran, these are things that you should be paying attention to, because the veteran community is very, very large. And we have a lot of folks that are in need, or maybe they can find a place to plug in that they can give them something to do at the same time, and you can get involved with another organization that way. So whether you're a veteran or not, this is a show for you, and it's Still Serving Iowa Veterans. It's out on YouTube. It's out on Spotify.
Yep, Facebook.
Yep.
iHeart.
Yep. Yeah. So it is available right now. You and Darlene do a wonderful job with it, and it's one of those projects that I like to talk about of what's coming out of this facility, because it's kind of you want to see what we can do here. Watch this, and that's. I love that it's well, shoot, it's turned into a marketing thing for me too. You talk about marketing.
Right,
so.
Right, exactly. Well, you know, and some other shout outs I need to make about this is the Commandant of the IDVA, Todd Jacobus, follows this. IDVA follows this, and he follows it personally. So, and shares our information out. So that to me says a lot about what we're doing. He is the Commandant of the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs, you know, and we would want to make an appeal to every county in the state of Iowa, we hope to have an interview with every county veteran service officer in the state to talk about what sort of outreach that they're doing in their county, what they're doing to reach out to veterans, what they're doing to support their veteran community. And Iowa has a higher percentage than a lot of states of veterans. I haven't seen the hard numbers recently, but back when I was a veteran service officer, across the nation, it's about 10% of the population. Iowa counties, county by county, were anywhere from 9 to 13%, some 14. So Iowa has always been a veteran-friendly state. Iowa has the Home Base Iowa program, where this program incentivizes veterans to live, work, and spend within counties. Businesses who are part of Home Base Iowa offer discounts for veterans, and and there's also a connection for hiring veterans, for businesses to hire veterans. And you'll never find a general segment of the population with a better work ethic or more dedication
I'd agree with
than the
that.
veteran community.
I would agree with that.
On Pottawattamie County Routes, we explore the places that make our region home and the people who keep them connected. That is why we are proud to feature Marnie Elkhorn Communications, your local communications provider serving Marnie, Elkhorn, Walnut, Avoca, and other southwest Iowa towns with high-speed fiber internet, reliable phone service, and TV options built for rural living. With real local support and unlimited data plans, you get speeds up to 1 gig to work, stream, and stay in touch with family and neighbors. Visit metc.net to learn more and get connected today.
My father was a veteran. His father was a veteran. I spoke at my dad's funeral, and one of the lines that I said was, everything I learned about work ethic, I learned from my dad. And that's where it came from. And it started with his dad, and going back even previous to that, because his father was a veteran. You know, you can just track it all the way down to, I think my grandfather's grandfather ultimately passed away from a wound that he suffered in the Civil War. So you can see that there's a lot of history.
There is. So your family has been in service since the Civil War, maybe before?
Probably going back before then, because I got into it. I was kind of geeking out a little bit about Ancestry.com and started following things back, and actually tracked one of my, was it 11th great-grandfather, you know, going back that many generations, came over on a ship called the John and Mary, and was the founder of Windsor, Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, there was
you have deep American history.
Yeah, it goes back pre-Revolutionary War.
Yeah, so you probably had some ancestry involved in the Revolutionary War.
I'm certain.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow.
There's a lot of it back
that's
there.
very cool.
Yeah, so again, both of my grandfathers serving in World War II, one in the Air Force and one in the Navy, and it's important.
Well, getting back to the work ethic that you brought up, Todd, I've never seen a work ethic like yours. I've seen you work through being sick. I've seen you do a show that requires your voice when you had lost your voice. I've seen you put out 10 shows a week and now 11 every week. So speaking of work ethic, I have utmost respect for your work ethic, and you are a prime example of a good work ethic. So thank you, and thank you for not giving me a hard time when I was in bed all week over the Easter or weekend over the Easter weekend.
No, and this, we're not telling tales out of school. I'm not. Hopefully, this isn't a HIPAA violation, but you came down with strep throat.
Yeah.
And I had that once as an adult.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
It is horrible.
And the doctor had actually said when I got it, they said, yeah, when kids with strep throat, it's rough. Adults with strep throat, it's
at
it's
first
really bad.
We thought it was, and then she let me know it wasn't, and so now it's like, okay, so some kind of a virus that imitates.
Okay, so it's close to that.
Imitates
still,
it, but Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't have it as bad as some because I guess some people get it really bad in their ears as well. But if I start feeling like that, I'm running to a doctor because as a child I had it over and over and over. So,
Lots of stuff going around.
oh
so-
my goodness,
And I
yeah.
was glad that you weren't hanging out here the whole time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I went home and took my, thank you very much to Bambi. She got me some elderberry
Yeah.
supplements
Yeah.
and different things like that. And my immune system kicked in and everything's okay.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we didn't have a hard enough winter to kill the germs, I think.
Yeah, it could have been part of the
It was a
reason,
crazy,
too.
crazy winter.
Absolutely. So, as we said, Still Serving Iowa Veterans. It's out on your favorite podcast platform. Give it a watch. And coming out every week on Fridays, correct?
Yes.
Is the day that
Yes.
it's released. So,
You know, Todd, we're talking about adding a second day to the week.
yeah.
We are. We are. There's so much information, so many organizations, and so much to do that we may need to add a second day.
Well, I can see why you'd want to because you have all this free time.
So the other thing I want to mention, though, before we close this one is every Wednesday, Darlene puts out a post called In Case You Didn't Know, and she tells something about veteran services somewhere in the state or across the state. For instance, last Wednesday was the Iowa Veterans Treatment Courts. And there's one here in Council Bluffs, and there's one other one in the whole
I
state
heard about this.
of Iowa. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of cool that they're here, that they started here.
Yeah, and as you said, it's a statewide show, but there's so much happening right where we're at that you got a lot to talk about. So I can see why that you might need to add that second show every week.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
All right, this has been Pottawattamie County Routes. Thank you so much, Carlene Hall, and thank you for watching and for listening. And click that like button, follow, share, please. It's how we are able to spread the word more about what's happening right here locally in our corner of the world in Southwest Iowa. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you next time.